Welcome to the Treehouse Show podcast, your weekly dose of tech and all things Team Treehouse. All right, welcome to the show, the Treehouse Show podcast. This is episode 4. We have a really awesome show for you today. We're going to talk a little bit about AI, Sora specifically. I don't know if anyone's heard of Sora AI yet, but it's really, really cool and it's super popular right now. So we'll talk a little bit about that and give you our opinions on it. But I'm your host, Dustin.
And I'm your co-host, Laura. Before we jump into Sora, I have one thing I want to talk about. We both have cats, right?
Yes.
And I've always been wondering, why do they prefer cardboard? Like, I buy them a big fluffy bed, nice and comfy, nice and warm. I even bought a bed that plugs in and it heats up. Like, it senses the weight and then it heats up. But no, they want the cardboard box it came in. Do you have this experience with your cat?
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes. And it's like I can fold a blanket perfectly. Like my cat, he loves sleeping on this blanket, right? And if I fold it perfectly and put it somewhere like right by the sun, he won't sleep on it unless the blanket's all messed up. I think they just like the uncomfortable things. Anything that's not perfectly round or soft, they're going to go towards it. And every time I buy something, I get like an Amazon box in the mail. It's his box.
Oh,
It's his
yeah.
box.
Like, especially when we get like seltzer in a box, like, you know, the canned
Mhm.
seltzer and it comes in a box. They love running through it or like just jumping in it. But
Yep.
the other day I saw a TikTok explaining why boxes or cats like boxes and they prefer boxes. It's because boxes are fun. That's what he said. He
Boxes
is
are
a
fun.
cat whisperer that I've seen on like Animal Planet. And he's just like, have you seen babies in boxes? Babies love boxes. And then I thought back to like that SpongeBob episode of like the imagination. And they just like had so much fun in a box. And he was just like, boxes are fun. That's
Oh
why they
yeah.
like boxes. And I'm like, okay, I
Yeah,
guess.
Link will actually grab. So if I get a big enough box, Link will take all of his toys one by one and bring them into the box. It's
Aw.
like he picks up his own toys, but he knows when he wants to go grab a toy or wants to play with his toys, he goes to his box and grabs it first. It's pretty cute.
That is the cutest thing.
All right, so we're going to get this episode started and we're going to talk a little bit about Sora and what it is. So if you don't know what Sora is and you'd like to follow along, I mean, I know this is a podcast, but if you want to follow along with us, go to openai.com/Sora, and that is Sora. And you'll be greeted with a really cool hero at the top of the website. I don't know if it'll be different by the time you hear this or not, but it looks like it is some paper planes in so many different colors and lots of them just flying around through like a wooded area with a bunch of trees. And in real fine print at the bottom of the hero, it says all videos on this page were generated directly by Sora without modification. So if you're unsure what Sora is, that kind of gives you a hint, but let's read what this hero says. It says creating video from text. Sora is an AI model that can create realistic and imaginative scenes from text instructions. So think of it as ChatGPT, where you prompt ChatGPT and you get a text completion back. This is the same thing, except you're getting video back, which is insanely impressive.
It's kind of more like what Midjourney, except like because you know in Midjourney you can provide text and it gives you images. This gives you a video instead, so it's
Right.
like just videos are just multiple images put together.
Right. And it's just insane what we've been able to accomplish so quickly since, ChatGPT first launched. I mean, think of the very first AI video renders that came out, which was not very long ago. It was, I don't know if you've seen them, it was the Will Smith like eating some spaghetti, and it was impressive for what it was, but it was pretty bad. But we all knew it would get better, within the next few years. But here we are just a few months later, and this is so realistic. It's very hard to tell that this wasn't taken from a video.
Yeah, and also I keep hearing this everywhere, but like this is the worst it's gonna be. It's just gonna keep getting better from here. It's not gonna go downhill. So
Right. I was shown this video and I was not told this was AI. I wouldn't be dissecting it and I would literally think this was just, videoed. But knowing that this is AI generated, our eyes are looking at it with a lot more criticism and we are finding small little things in there that just don't make sense. And as you said, this is the worst it's going to get. So I don't know if that scares you for the future or makes you excited. But Let's dive into some of the videos on here. So I'm on the very first video if anyone's following along. But if you're not, we'll try to be as descriptive as possible. Speaking of descriptions and how we mentioned with ChatGPT, you give it a prompt and you receive some text completions. This is basically the same thing. You give it a very descriptive prompt and you get back a video. So, the prompt for the very first video, before I start explaining what we're looking at, it says a stylish woman walks down a Tokyo street filled with warm, glowing neon and animated city signage. She wears a black leather jacket, a long red dress, and black boots, and carries a black purse. She wears sunglasses and red lipstick. She walks confidently and casually. The street is damp and reflective, creating a mirror effect on the colorful lights. Many pedestrians walk about. And yeah, it's
Yeah.
exactly what we're seeing. And if I was watching this without knowing this is AI, again, I would not be able to tell this was AI generated. But if you look super close, it's like as the video starts, you see
Mhm.
a lot of what we just said. Actually, you see all of what we just read from the prompt. But if you look super close at some of the people in the background, it almost looks like they're just gliding by or floating.
Yeah. And also, even the main character up front, the stylish woman, her hands, her fingers are long. Her thumb is like extremely long, which I guess makes sense because even artists nowadays have trouble drawing hands. So it makes sense AI has trouble with the small details. If I ever get a tattoo, I usually like try to stay away tattoos with hands because I'm just like hands are just hard to draw.
Mm-hmm. Very. Now, what's important to note though is at towards the end of the video, it does do a little bit more of a close up of her, and it kind of goes down her body a bit, and it gets to her hand, and her
Mhm.
hand looks great once it's like the main focal point of what's being rendered. But that's just another thing to kind of mention that it did a cut, it jump cut to it, so it doesn't just create one perfectly long video of a minute or less. It'll do jump cuts. It'll make like a little scene for you. And it almost looks like now we're like right now I'm looking at basically a headshot of her. We're really close to her face and the reflection on her glasses just shows what she's looking at. There's no cameraman in front of her. It's kind of wild. And you can see she's got a ring on. She's got some nail polish on her fingers. When it cuts to her face, you could see the pores. She has a little bit of acne. Like you could see the strands of hair in front of her ears. Like it's so detailed. It's unreal.
Yeah, like you just forget that this woman doesn't exist.
No, she's
She's
fake.
she's an AI generated woman, but like yeah, the close-ups once you do a close-up, it's pretty great. I don't really notice much that is wrong at all.
I just noticed when the video starts, look at her feet as she walks. She actually really glides. Like she does not actually make good contact with the ground. But again, like if I didn't know this was AI, I wouldn't be dissecting it this bad to notice that.
Mhm.
It's insane. It's really crazy.
Yeah, because our eyes are more forgiving. Like, if there is a video that's missing a frame, our eyes will interpolate and correct
Hmm.
it. So, this is pretty amazing because we're not even looking for it. And even so, our eyes will autocorrect to make it look normal. Or we're just like, yeah, sure, that's how things are.
The next video is wild. Okay. And it is a slow motion. Well, actually, let me read the prompt. Several giant woolly mammoths approach, treading through a snowy meadow. Their long woolly fur lightly blows in the wind as they walk. Snow-covered trees and dramatics. Oh, I gotta click show more. It says snow-covered trees and dramatic snow-capped mountains in the distance. Mid-afternoon, light with wispy clouds and a sun high in the distance creates a warm glow. The low camera view is stunning, capturing the large furry mammal with beautiful photography depth of field. And it is ridiculous. Like this looks so real. This looks
Yeah.
better than CGI in a movie. So what we're watching is it looks like one, two, three, maybe four woolly mammoths basically coming at the camera and they're kicking up snow behind them and it's just misting and clouding up behind them and it's the quality is just crazy. And since we don't have woolly mammoths around anymore, we don't know what they would look like or what this would look like if this was real, but I feel like this is exactly what we would see. This is insane.
Yeah, the only thing they got wrong, I think, it says wispy clouds and a high sun. I don't see any clouds, and I guess instead of clouds, they made that mist
Mm-hmm.
behind them.
Maybe so.
But other than that, it's pretty good. Like when I'm watching this, I'm trying to see where they're stepping and being like, all right, are they leaving a print? Which it kind of looks like they are.
I think they mimic, elephants very, very well in this video. But what's crazy to me is just like this is completely synthetic. This area doesn't
Mhm.
exist. These mammals don't exist. That mountain range and the trees in the background does not exist. Like this does not exist anywhere. This is completely synthetic.
Yeah, but if someone sent it to me, I'm like, yeah, cool. That looks, I would probably believe it.
Yeah, it's insane. I'm gonna go over to the third one now.
The next one, the prompt is a movie trailer featuring the adventures of a 30-year-old spaceman wearing a red wool knitted motorcycle helmet. Blue sky, salt desert, cinematic style, shot on a 35 millimeter film, vivid colors. And
That is exactly what I see.
yeah, which I thought was neat how they incorporated the wool knitted motorcycle helmet. So it's just like they added just a
Right.
knit cap to it.
Which is something you probably wouldn't see in this sort of movie or whatever this would normally be shot. So it's kind of like it's kind of like they're getting this sophisticated prompt. They're adding a little quirk to it, and it also makes the color just pop. Which the end of that prompt says vivid colors, and it definitely gives some vivid, warm colors to it.
Yeah, this looks like a movie I would watch. I'm
Yeah,
like,
like
okay, cool. Sign me
he
up.
looks insanely detailed. Like you can look at all the facial hair he's got. You can see the pores in his skin. You can see all the little
Yeah, it's 5 o'clock shadow.
yeah, like so there's a spot where he's inside of his spacecraft it looks like, and you could see
Mhm.
every knob, you could see every button, you could see everything on the computer screens. It's crazy. This
But there
is
is one discontinuity. Like in 5 seconds, he is fully shaved. He
yeah, I
has a
did
five
notice
o'clock
that.
shadow, and then later on, he has his or
Unless that's a different person, but they look so
maybe.
identical that it might. I don't know. I don't know. It also shows a second person walking behind him
Oh, and then he
earlier in it.
disappears.
Yeah. So I don't know. It could be like a team. I don't know, but they
Hey.
do look. They do all look very similar, and they're all wearing the same red knitted cap. This is so cool, though. From what I heard, they are going to be adding some very big safety measures in place for this. This won't be just readily available like ChatGPT was, at least not for now. They're gonna be implementing a lot of safety features. So maybe this is a good segue to the safety section of this website. So I'm gonna head on there, and I'm just gonna read what it says for everyone. So in their safety section, it says safety. We'll be taking several important safety steps ahead of making Sora available in OpenAI's products. We are working with red teamers, domain experts in areas like misinformation, hateful content, and bias, who will be adversarially testing the model. We're also building tools to help detect misleading content, such as detection classifier that can tell when a video is generated by Sora. Oh, that's going to be good because we definitely want to know if a video is
Yes.
generated by Sora or if it's
Like
real.
a way to double check, like submit this to Sora. Be like, did you make this?
For
They'll be
real,
like,
yeah. We plan to include C2PA metadata in the future if we deploy the model in an OpenAI product. In addition to us developing new techniques to prepare for development, we're launching the existing safety methods that we built for our products that use DALI 3, which are applicable to Sora as well. For example, once in an OpenAI product, our text classifier will check and reject text input prompts that are in violation of our usage policies, like those that request extreme violence, sexual content, hateful imagery, celebrity likeness, or the IP of others. We've also developed robust image classifiers that are used to review the frames of every video generated to help ensure that it adheres to our usage policies before it's shown to the user. That's big. I mean, if they actually, go forward and actually implement all these safety measures, this will at least limit what you can do. I know there's always people out there that, abuse things, but this will go a long way, I think.
yeah, especially because of how horrible deep fakes are, like where
Oh
people
yeah,
can just put someone's face on a video on someone else's body. That's what they're trying to prevent with celebrity likeness. Wow, how did you read this? With
very
celebrity
carefully.
likeness or the IP of others. So it makes sense.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I think spammers, not spammers. I think scammers are having a field day with this stuff, and they're gonna try to find ways to abuse it for sure. So I'm glad like big companies like OpenAI are implementing these safety measures. And then the last little bit is we'll be engaging policymakers, educators, and artists around the world to understand their concerns and to identify positive use cases for new technology. Despite extensive research and testing, we cannot predict all of the beneficial ways people will use our technology, nor all the ways people will abuse it. That's why we believe that learning from real world use is a critical component of creating and releasing increasingly safe AI systems over time. Yeah, I'm really liking that they one included this safety section in here for people that are concerned. I know I'm not the only one that's concerned with how this can be used or misused,
Mhm.
and it seems like they're taking a lot of precaution with this. And just so everyone knows, I don't think anyone has access to this. I think maybe there's some people with like access to the beta or something, but this is not public yet. No one can use this. No one can generate things from this yet, and obviously they're going to work heavily on their safety measures before this is fully mainstream.
They're learning from their mistakes with ChatGPT. I think they're getting sued by some people at the moment. I want to say it's Times, the Times magazine. No, New York Times. I think New York Times is the one suing them. So I think they are trying to be extra careful because they're learning from their mistakes with ChatGPT. But
Yeah,
the
I remember
use,
you mentioning something about them getting sued by New York Times. What was it? What was that about again?
let me see, New York Times, OpenAI.
Yeah, I believe you told me about this like last week.
OpenAI seeks to dismiss parts of the New York Times lawsuit. Okay, yeah. So there is a lawsuit between them. And what it is you know how New York Times, if you want to read an article, you have to be a subscriber. But
Right.
if you're not, you see the first paragraph or
Oh,
so.
I remember. I remember what this is. Maybe just mention a little bit about this and not go too into details.
But yeah, so their lawsuit is basically if you copy the first couple of paragraphs on New York Times magazine and paste it in ChatGPT, apparently you can get word for word. I'm not sure ChatGPT did something to fix this at the moment while they're in lawsuit, but that I'm assuming they're learning from their mistakes with ChatGPT and definitely wanna gear more towards safety and not get any more lawsuits.
Yeah, this is such new territory for just everyone in the planet. I mean, AI came out of nowhere and the rate that it advanced is just it's unfathomable. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, and at the quality it is right now, I can see so many use cases for it cuz I know there's so many times I'm making a promo for one of my videos and I'm like, I just want a video of someone looking at their computer at this size because Sora can do a video at any shape you want the video to be so that it can always be on any platform you want it. And I'm
Nice. So you
like,
can choose the
it's
resolution.
yeah. You can choose the
Wow.
resolution, you can tell it what to generate, which that's like the use cases I think of more often. It's just like whenever you need a just like if you have a presentation and you want to just show a generic stock photo. Like I think like a stock video. I think stock videos and those companies might be going out of business with AI because you can just generate any image and it's just getting better and better.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy to see like just what the future holds. I don't think it'll take jobs away. I think we're just going to need to be more creative and we're going to need to I'm sure there's things that we cannot get it to recreate. Like we can't get it to recreate at least not yet videos of actual people. Like if, for example, if someone wanted to create a video teaching JavaScript and they wanted me to teach it, I don't think we're there yet. And like we said earlier, we're limited to 1 minute videos, and we didn't really get into why. And it's because it takes so much GPU power to create even that 1 minute video,
And that
which
doesn't
I don't
include
know.
sound. It's
No,
just video.
these actually do not include sound, which is another limiting factor. But this is, I'm sure, also temporary. But one thing we didn't mention is I'm sure a lot of people that follow AI news, Sam Altman's, asking for a lot of money right now as an investment for something, and he's asking for trillions. And I think that's like a world's first, someone just asking for trillions. And it's because he needs all the GPUs in the world. He needs GPU power that is just unheard of, and it's for creating things like this. I don't think we're at the point where we're making cinematic movies or anything yet, but who knows what the future holds when we're advancing so fast into this stuff.
One thing I do want to mention, so everyone's talking about like this front page that we've been like scrolling through and talking to people about, but I really want to talk about the technical report because I don't know if you saw it. It's a different page, but it actually tells you what Sora can be capable of. So, for example, like it's not just text to video. You can provide it an image and it will create you a video from that image, like kind of make it a loop. Um, Let me send this to you. And also, I'm going to ask you to put this in the show notes because it's pretty cool if you scroll down through it.
Yeah, I did
Let
read a
me.
little bit about this, and it's wild. Like everything that we've talked about so far, just trust us. We've scratched the surface of Sora. I highly recommend, if you're not following along on the Sora website, um, to either do so or save it for later and go back and check it out. What this AI model is capable of is it's beyond words.
Oh yeah, I'm just like I'm more excited. I'm not too excited about like the text to video, but I'm more excited about these other features it can do. But before we talk about that, if you scroll down that page, I highly recommend opening it. You can see the progression of how the video is made. So for example, if you scroll down, you'll see the base compute of a husky with a blue knitted hat. The first base compute is horrible. It looks
It
like
looks
a
like a alien.
monster. Yeah,
Yeah,
like the hat turned red and it's just funky. And then the four times compute. All right, it's getting better. It looks a little fuzzy. And then 32 times compute, like you can see each fur.
cinematic movie.
It's beautiful. So it's just like
So
it's I like this
scroll
page
up
better.
scroll
Okay.
up just a little bit and you'll see like the scaling transformers for video generation.
Yeah.
You see how it starts off with a super fuzzy image?
Hmm.
That's basically the same thing as the DALL-E model. It does the same thing. It'll keep rendering until it gets to what it needs to. There's a
Yeah.
lot of fancy words and big things involved with all that I don't know and
Bunch of
I can't
machine
speak
learning.
on. Yeah, but it's absolutely wild. If you're one of those nerds that just really like to understand things, the technical page for Sora is worth the read. I read through a little bit of it so far, and I was geeking out. I love it. It's very very cool.
Oh yeah, I
We'll
love
definitely
this
link this in the show
page.
notes.
I love this page more than the other ones because then you can actually like see how it works. They, of course, they're not going to tell you exactly how it works, but you can see the progression,
Hmm.
see its all capabilities. Like for example, there's one improving framing and composition. So you can give them a video, which is the video on the left of a scuba diver where you only see half of his face and the background of like a ship under the water. And they
Yes.
gave it to Sora and generated one on the right, which is like better framing. You can see the entire scuba diver and the ship facing the camera. So it's just
It's
like
crazy.
video editing. This would be amazing for video editing. I didn't, just reading from the front page, I didn't know you can also give it an existing video and ask it to fix
What's
it.
really crazy, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and there's a section for simulating digital worlds. Sora is also able to simulate artificial processes. One example is video games. Sora can simultaneously control the player in Minecraft with a basic policy while also rendering the world and its dynamics in high fidelity. These capabilities can be elicited zero shot by prompting Sora with captions mentioning Minecraft. And if you look at the two examples underneath it, it literally looks like I'm watching somebody play a game, and that's not happening. That's
Yeah, because I think the left is
synthetic.
the original, the right one is Sora,
They look
which is,
identical.
yeah.
It's crazy. So
I
you
kind of
could
prefer Sora. It
theoretic,
looks better. Like the
yeah, it does.
sky looks so much cleaner.
It looks sharper. I what this tells me is you can generate your own custom content. So like yeah, you can record yourself playing Minecraft, but if you want like a specific outcome, like you want somebody to really enjoy your stream or your video, right, of you playing Minecraft, you can have some crazy stuff happen that can't actually happen in the real game. So I could see content creators just leveling up their content game using stuff like this too. So I think there's a space for everyone in here. It's pretty wild. I will say that it's pretty wild. I'm gonna link this down in the show notes, and if you want to come and talk to us about it, head on over to our Discord. You can find a link to that in the show notes as well. We would love to hear what you got to say about Sora or just AI stuff in general.
And I know the beginning of our talk, we said all of this wasn't modified at all. So, of course, they're going to probably pick the best videos. But if you head on over to Sam Altman's Twitter, or X, I should say, he actually asked people to give him prompts and generate things. And you can actually see what it generated. So, for example, one of them I like is he showed two renderings of a prompt, which is a half duck, half dragon flies through a beautiful sunset with a hamster dressed as an adventurer geared on its back. The first generation was, it was okay. The dragon's a little rubbery, or the dragon duck is a little rubbery. And then I see him later on, he's like, here's a better one, which is so much better. You when you look at the dragon, it's more close up, the dragon duck, I guess. It's more close up. The dragon is fluffy, kind of have scales, but also feathers like a duck. Um, and the hamster is just cuter also instead of the first generating. But yeah, if you want to see what other videos it can generate, I also recommend looking at Sam's Altman's X, Twitter, whatever everyone wants to call it. There are
What do
other
you
videos in
say?
there. I say Twitter.
I say
Twitter
Twitter
sounds so
too.
much better.
Yeah, I don't know. X is so weird. I'm not saying X.
Elon Musk will Elon Musk.
All right, well, that's the show. But just right before we close this off, um, I have a hot take. I actually
Oh,
have a hot take this time.
okay.
If you listened to last week's episode, I said I had a hot take and I didn't, but I actually have a hot take this time.
All right, give it to me. What's up?
So my hot take is desktop app versus web app. And for those that don't know what that means, basically, what's a good example? Discord's a good example, really. So a lot of people use the actual app. Whether you're on a Windows or a Mac, you have like an actual app you click on that launches Discord. But some people actually use Discord in the browser. Um, yes, it's the
No.
same with Figma. Sometimes people use Figma in the browser versus using the actual application. So I am a very big stickler for the app. Like if there's an app, I'm using the app. And 9 times out of 10, if you have a very good product and there's no app for it and I have to use it in the browser, like Confluence, I'm not using it. I'm not going to use it. I hate being in my browser. I don't want to be in my browser if I don't have to be. So what are you? Are you team web app or team desktop app?
Okay, so I'm in shock. I didn't believe you that Discord had a web app.
Yeah.
Um, I'm in it, and I'm just like, no,
Yeah, you can
no.
fully Discord it out just in the browser, like a weirdo, but yeah,
I'm
I'm
a
not doing
mixture
that.
of both. So like my chat applications and stuff like Slack, Discord, like anything I use to talk to people, that has to be a desktop app. I don't want to open up my browser to go to their website and it's just more complicated. But I will admit for like Figma, I use the web app. Uh
All right, we're ending the show. Why? What's the purpose? Like, why wouldn't you just want to go to your dock or go to your apps, just click on Figma and just go? Why do you need to be in the browser? Because my thing is, I
I'm
know there's a lot
already
of
in the
people
browser.
that, yeah, and I think that's where the difference comes. So like sometimes I'll be in a meeting and somebody will share their screen and they've got like 20,000 tabs open
Oof.
and they're comfortable with that. That's how they work. No, I close out my apps every hour. Okay. I will refresh my browser just about every hour. I keep it minimal. I open up what I need to open up and nothing more. So that might be why I'm more of a application type of person versus a desktop. I mean,
Yeah,
versus a web app.
now that you bring that up, I think I'm more of a if I'm using it often and just want to have it open, I am a desktop app. So like Zoom and Discord, Slack, whatever. Desktop. But ones like I barely use Figma. So it's just like, just use the web app because it's just more convenient. I don't
So
know.
there are workarounds now though. So you don't have to live in the browser anymore. This episode is not sponsored by Apple, but it should be. But no, if you're on actually, if you're actually on Mac OS Sonoma, um, you can actually create an actual app for any website that you want using Safari. You just open it up in Safari, you click on File, and you go to Add to Dock, and it'll create like a web app for you for anything. So I actually, since we use Confluence a lot internally here at Treehouse, I hate having to go in the browser for it. I instantly created a web app for it using Safari, and it works perfectly. It's as if it's like its own native app. So if you're like me, you need a web app for everything you do, and you own a Mac. Make sure you're on the latest version of Mac OS Sonoma, and you can get that feature with Safari. Hey, how about if you're not in our Discord, you come to our Discord and let us know. Are you team web app or are you team desktop app? And if you say desktop app, we can be besties. If you say web app, we might kick you. No, we're not going to kick you, but we might mute you for a little bit. No, we won't. We won't. We won't. We accept everyone in there, but yeah, come let us know. Come let us know. I'm interested to know if I'm the only one like this or if there's something wrong with me.
No, I think there's more people like you than there are like me, but we'll see.
But it's not just like it's okay, there's no web app. Like if there's no web app, I'm actually very upset. Very upset.
Okay, then I think it's just you.
Yeah, it might be. All right, we're going to end the show on that note. We hope you enjoyed the episode on Sora. We think it's really, really cool. Let us know if you agree. Everything we mentioned today will be in the show notes, and we will see you guys next Tuesday, same time, same place, at the Treehouse Show podcast. I'm your host, Dustin.
And I am your co-host, Laura. Well, we'll see you later.
Adios.
Bye.
So that wraps up the Treehouse Show podcast for today, and we hope you enjoyed the episode. What would you like to hear us talk about next? Be sure to join our community Discord server and let us know. Worth noting, if you want to give us a shot and learn a code, we've taught over 1.2 million developers and counting. You can set yourself up with a 7-day free trial just by heading on over to teamtreehouse.com. Until next time, have fun and happy coding.